Welcome to Right Talk with Mike Lee. I am the Director of Outreach and Engagement for the Travis County Republican Party, hence the name Right Talk. Which I'm politically I'm conservative and on the right, and I believe that we should talk right to lead to thinking right to lead to doing right. And I always like to lead off with what my main saying is which is what is good for the black community is good for the community. And I'm going to say it until someone proves me wrong, and I hope I be proven wrong because things will improve. I have for me tonight a surprise guest. I had planned to have a representative from the Texas Asian Republican Assembly appear, but something must have happened. They weren't able to get here on time. I have a good friend of I think we might be friends. He's a friend of mine. He's Isaac Rowe. He's the CEO and founder of Man and Me. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that, Isaac.
Well, we're an organization that educates, strengthens, and support our men and fathers. We're a nonprofit organization. We have Men Talk workshops every third Friday of the month. We share our life experiences, our challenges, our concerns. We'll be able to have a brotherhood and build that bond and that camaraderie amongst the men, and be able to just network and just kind of grow together, and we can walk on one accord.
Now, I've gone to several of your meetings, and there are gentlemen there who are of different ages. Of course, I'm in my mid-60s, and the guys are in their 20s and the 30s and 40s, and we get to talk, and it's real honest talk. That's what I like about it. And we talk about issues that are peculiar to men. Mm-hmm. And we talk straight. Sometimes we use bad words, but that's cool.
Yeah.
But that's just how it goes. Are you a minister, Isaac?
I'm a minister?
Yeah.
So I would say I'm a minister of some sort. I wouldn't say I'm ordained or
Okay.
anything like that, but at least not yet. Yeah, but
Okay.
I would say I am a minister. I do serve in that.
But you're a certified, what's that? I forget you, it's not diversity, it's some kind that goes on with your mentorship.
I got a couple of different things as far as titles. Anger management specialist, and then a father engagement specialist.
What does it take to do those things? What kind of background and training is required?
One of the things, especially for the anger program I went through, I had to make sure that I was in social work, or I had to have some type of degree, or I was in some type of work that I did with people to get kind of approved to actually take it. Once I say, hey, I've been doing this for a while, this is what I specialize in, mm-hmm. and got in and took the course and got my certification in anger management.
How old is your organization?
Be 5 years this March, so we'll be 5 years in the city of Austin. So it's been growing, it's been good, and so we look for new things coming this 2017 as we redo some things, revamp everything, and make some new changes. And
you're also an author too, aren't you?
Yes.
And the name of your book is?
It's called I Love Anger, and that book is about is a testimony on how anger ruled and controlled my life, and how I was able to redirect that anger to a positive direction.
So it's autobiographical in mm-hmm. large measure?
Yes, I give you a personal approach. I give you my life story from childhood to adulthood. And then also I give you the clinical approach.
So what were you angry about?
Life. Life in general, how...
you have siblings?
Yes.
How many?
2.
2?
Yeah, 2.
And you was angry about life?
I angry about life, that like the hand I was dealt. I was dealt a bad hand. People have...
Why would you say that?
It's just a bad hand. I would say that... just growing up, you would say that, you had a nice childhood. You had both parents that, they went to college, got some education, and then somewhere down the line, things took a turn. Mm-hmm. Cancer and, and it's just my mother getting into drugs, being a drug addict for many years, then my father not being there. And just one of the things is that then you just kind of raise yourself, and there's nobody, there's no direction, there's no positivity around.
So you could have been a bad outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you were angry about that.
Yeah.
What did you do with that anger?
I redirected it into a positive direction. Not at first. I'll say that. I would say I made some mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes, obviously, but I didn't make the mistakes that would put me in prison, shall I say. But as far as just changing the way I think over the period of time, it took me, when I started, it took me about 10 plus years to get to where I am today, because at probably my prime of being angry, I had to go see a psychiatrist for work, because they said that no one didn't want to work around me because I was a hazard to a work environment. And so they told me, like, look, we can't do it. Nobody wants to work around you. You're the best worker. We don't want to fire you because you're like 3-4 people. But what are we supposed to do? So they send you this, counselor, and said that I'm in Great Depression. And, they give me, like, do you want some pills and all this stuff, and you're angry about this, and, you got a bunch of stuff that's going on, and I just really didn't want to be there. And from that point, she's like, I said, well, am I crazy?
You grew up here in Austin?
I grew up partially here. I was born in Brownwood. I came to Austin. I did all the way up to middle school, and then I went to high school in Seguin.
Brownwood's what, down south?
It's close to Abilene.
Okay.
So it's by Abilene. So it's like Dallas, Abilene, up in that area. So
Okay.
it's west. West Texas. Yeah.
So you were angry for how long?
A long time. You would say it started when I was very young, and it grew. And then when it grew, then it kind of popped at that moment. And then, like I said, with the counselor, I knew that from that point there was really something going on with me. I had to really take it in and really, like, what's really going on. And then I started piecing it and dissecting it over the years. I just came to this conclusion, like, I am really pissed off.
So how long were you seeing the counselor or whatever?
I think it was maybe a couple of months that I was, and then, then that was it. I didn't want to get on any medicine. I didn't want to do anything they recommended. So I said, no, there's nothing wrong with me.
Did things change at the job?
Things changed a little bit, because it kind of hurt my feelings because when I asked her, I said, am I crazy? She said, most people who are crazy don't know that they're crazy. And I was like, what you trying to say? Am I crazy? So I'm like, what you trying to say? And so I was like, I had to just look at my life a little bit different. And I realized how I treated my friends. I cursed out my friends. I got in my friends' face. Like, all my homeboys are like, I really, appreciate them for being there and not leaving, because I was not a very good person. I was kind of mean to them, but I was still the best friend. I was still involved in their life, but I just had things that I didn't know how to deal with. And so.
Do you have friends who knew you when you were angry and acting out, and after you came out of some of the same friends? What do they tell you? What stuff do they tell you?
They're like, man, you're a completely different person. They always thank my wife, but like, man, you should have seen him. Thank you, you saved him. You saved him. He was going to the path of destruction. He was just angry. I had drama. That was all my life. And one of the things is that when I started dating females and that sort, is that I was addicted to drama. I was addicted to the fighting, the back and forth, the cheating, the lies and stuff like that. I indulged in that, And so since that was how my life was, I was used to it. So it made me feel alive.
Does all this come through in your book?
Yes, I talk a little bit about that, but yeah. I talk about a lot of things that I did in my past. But this is, the stories about the counselor and at the job and stuff like that. Yeah, I talk about those things.
Are you thankful for what happened?
Yeah.
How so?
Yeah. I would not be the man I am here today. I would not have started a nonprofit organization and helped hundreds of men and their families. I would not have wrote a book and all the things that I'm doing right now So I think I turned my pain into purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I turned everything that I saw that was the bad hand, and I said, look, I'm gonna take this hand, and I'm gonna win with it. Even though I got a losing hand, I was dealt a losing hand, I'm gonna still win.
Now, I had a good friend, my best friend actually passed away in August.
Mm-hmm.
We were friends for 59 years. We knew each other since we were 5 until we was 64. And he and I used to always talk a lot, and he always talked about turning negatives into positives. And it sounds like that's what you did with your anger. It was a negative situation, but you turned it around and made it work for you rather than working against you. Would that be like
Yes,
a fair summary?
Absolutely.
And then I have a little brother who says, I was angry all my life. He says, he tells me, he says, Mike, you're the only person I know who angered their way all the way through law school. And he's kind of right, because I was kind of mad at my mom, because it seemed like she gave my brothers more attention than me. And my thing was, I'm going to show you I'm the best.
So that's one of the things when I talk. I said, well, that was used for good, right?
Yeah.
So you've accomplished many things. You're a very educated man, you know. I talk about you all the time because you like one of my brothers that are very educated, so I get to brag a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Me?
Yeah, I get to brag about you, man. Yeah. Not
I'm just a guy.
Yeah,
You know what
hey,
I'm
but
saying?
you're a very educated guy who's done some things, who overcame some things, and you still here today.
I just try to be real.
Yeah.
I just try to be
Yeah.
real, because they know, everyone here in Austin probably knows my political connections with the Republican Party, and some people don't like you for that. As a matter of fact, I met you because I was going in a place where I probably shouldn't have been. I'm lucky I didn't get in a fight in there, because it gets like that. You know how it gets. I met you at the Victory or something like that?
Yeah, we were at Victory, Victory Grill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met you at a Rowe meeting, I believe, one of Richard's meetings.
Richard, yeah.
And, you know, when I go up in the Rowe meeting, they look at me like, what, you here? That's okay, I'm here.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
But that's how you have to me, it's all about being true to yourself and your values and what you believe. And I just believe in trying to do as much as I can, trying to do things right. I do a lot wrong. I've done a lot of wrong. If I keep living long enough, I'm gonna do some more wrong. But it's really about trying to get it right. And I believe that you can learn important lessons in life from people who didn't live life perfectly, from people who made mistakes, because you can learn what not to do. And it's important. It's as important to know what not to do as it is to know what to do. That's just how I look at things.
Yeah.
And when I love politics. I've been studying since I was in high school. Senior year, 17. When you had conservatives and liberals. And to me, conservatism just made sense. Everyone knows that the one certainty in life is change. Things are going to change. And my understanding at that time was conservatives say, okay, slow and gradual change. Think about it. Look before you leap. Don't just be radical change like liberals, just jump off the cliff and then wonder what's going to happen. Look over the cliff first and see what's down there. That's how I looked at it. And when I look at value-wise, I believe in God. I believe in prayer. And things that I believed in lined up on the Republican side of the House as opposed to the Democratic side of the House. And that's how I chose to decide my political affiliation.
Right. Based on your values, on what
Yeah.
you believe. Right. Would you think that people from the other side or even in your party would sit there and have those type of values, as far as they say that they have those type of values, but they don't operate in those type of values, but they do something else because they feel that this is where I need to be able to move in what direction?
That's kind of between them and God.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not my judgment. Now here's what I get a lot of. And I've had a lot of discussions about, because what happens is, to me as black people, we're making a judgment about how some white person is exercising their religion. Well, I think they should be doing this. Well, who are you to say what somebody else should be doing? number one. Number two, my biggest fear is someone who doesn't believe in God. That means to me, you're capable of anything. Because you have no restrictions, no rules. It's just about you and what you want.
Yeah.
And if I get in the way of what you want, I'm in danger. So I'm not necessarily comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Because with you, anything goes. There are no rules. If you throw God away, there's no rules.
Yeah.
You can do anything. You can marry a man, a horse, a bull, or whatever the hell you want to marry. It's just that doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm bound by my Judeo-Christian upbringing. And I just can't kick that aside.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, as far as I'm concerned, if there's no God, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a nephew who's an atheist, straight up atheist. He thinks we're all accidents of nature. I don't know that my mind is an accident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We think.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, what we think we know how, quote, white people should treat us.
Mm-hmm.
Or they should feel guilty. Or they owe me because of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're heavily into being victims, and they're oppressors.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, that therein lies the enmity in some people's minds.
Yeah.
Because what can they do to make it right? What do you want? And I've asked many people, what do you want them to do? What do you want white people to do?
There's not. Yeah.
And I have a minister who's a really good friend of mine, and we talked. He says, I just don't know how somebody can think they're better than me because of the color of their skin. And my thing is, who am I to say what someone else should think? You can think you're a tree if you want to. It's up to me to do what I have to do to get where I want to go with you thinking you're a tree.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say you shouldn't think you're a tree. You can think whatever the heck you want. And from my reading and understanding of history, it was black people who invented writing, philosophy, math. They built pyramids when people were running around in France in caves. So I don't have this inferiority thing going on. And I can't be mad about something that happened 400 years ago. Because there are people who came before me, like my mother and father were both Mississippi sharecroppers. They had 11 kids, 10 years of education put together. I'm a lawyer. I had a brother who was a lawyer. I had two brothers with PhDs. I had a sister who was a mayor. So don't tell me. I know it can be hard and can be challenging, but don't tell me things can't be done.
Right.
You just can't concede like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my view, what happens in life is about your choices that you make
Mm-hmm.
and the chances that you take.
Mm-hmm.
Some choices are good, some bad. Some chances work out, some don't. But you keep going. And if I assume a static position of I'm a victim, I need you to do something for me, is there ever going to be can they ever do enough? Where does this, like when I hear people talk about reparations, give me a dollar figure, how much? You want to say 40 acres unused at interest? Figure it out. Give me a number.
This is a product of unforgiveness. You know what I mean by that?
Oh, no.
What a product of unforgiveness is, the fact is that it happened. You said that you're not going to worry. Your mindset was that I'm not going to worry about what happened 400 years ago. I'm worrying about now. The thing about it is that been conditioned to believe certain things by certain individuals in a family, to believe certain things, that this residue of this unforgiveness, of hate, of anger that is from those people. So now when you see them, you can never fully trust them. You can never really embrace them as what they did to my ancestors. The reason why I do everything that I do is to be able to make my ancestors proud, because they died for me. My great-grandmother picked cotton. You know what I'm saying? Like before she died, she was telling me all these stories. She picked cotton. She was a slave. Mm-hmm. You know, so I look back and see how far she did, and she didn't hold that against anyone. She just lived her life, and she had 12 kids. You know, she had 12 kids, and it's just one of the things when you see these youngsters today, or just anybody, when you look at things, even in myself, just looking at, like, I was really upset on how that happened, on why did that happen. Now I can look and think and say and change my perspective on it and say, because of that, I am here now. I can think that, but not everybody thinks like I do. Not everybody thinks like you do. Not everybody can say, well, I had good parents. They raised their sharecroppers and they do it like that. I was like, nah, these been whipped mentally by the system, or by people telling them they can't do something. And if they're not strong enough, they don't have the self-esteem to be able to say, hey, this is what I'm finna go get. I'm finna go get this, and keep taking the hits. You took hits, because I know it wasn't easy growing up in your time. You know what I'm saying? You took hits and you still made it. Right now, they taking hits, but they can't make it. I took hits. I still made it.
Well, then it becomes important then for, as we grow up, to be able to deal with adversity.
Mm-hmm. Everybody knows how to do that. Nobody knows how to do that.
And it's like a lot of times people now, when you hit a bump in the road, they just throw up their hands.
That's what happens.
And you can't.
I know we can't do that, but that's what happens. Nobody's, and I go back when we were talking about where's the family structure at? Where's the strong people? Where's the men? Where are the fathers that are in the home, being able to instill these things, to be able to, like, no, get up, get out there and go do it. You know, keep out there and keep going. Don't stop. Don't quit. But that wasn't there. That wasn't there for me. So a lot of these, let's say, underprivileged people that are out there. And just for those some that I'm talking about, not to generalize, but they didn't have that father figure to be able to teach them. They didn't have the mother figure. They didn't have the best of that to be able to say, hey, this is what you're going to have to do. This is what you're going to have to do this. Because if they were in the projects and they lived in the projects, now they live in these projects. Right. And before them, they were living in the projects, and their family, their mother and their mother before them, it was always in the system.
So
I think it's okay. That became a way of life. So now we're talking about a live show is breaking the cycle of what's happening. Well, the fact is we can't break the cycle unless we start to change the way we think about the things that we see and change our perspective. I said, how can I change my life if I can't change the way I see it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had to change the way how I see my life, because I could easily go back and say, you know what? I hate everybody. I hate everybody. And that was my whole mentality. I don't care whether you are black, brown, white. It does not matter. I hate you because you exist. Because I hate me.
Right.
I had to change my perspective. It had nothing to do about color or race. It's because I hate me. Because I actually exist. Why do I have to exist? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's just my mind. That's just my mindset that I had before, but changing my mindset to do something now. You see what I'm saying? And what I'm doing right now, I had to change and shift my mind, my perspective on how I see life.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, I evaluate many things in political terms. I look at it this way. As a conservative, and I know people in the Klan and everything else. I know I do. I've worked with them before. One of them gave me a raise one time without telling me, because I was doing my job. But to me, people on the conservative side of the house tell you that you can. People on the Democratic side of the house say that you can't unless I help you. That leaves me at your mercy. And I believe that what happens in life to me and to everyone else is between God and them, what He wills. Not this guy over here. He may be part of something I have to overcome or something, or have to deal with, but ultimately it comes down to me and my effort. If I can't believe that, I have no shot. If I can't believe in a supreme being, I can't forgive.
Yeah.
And the main thing I see is the capacity to forgive.
Yeah.
And my thing in political terms, when I go to places like the Victory on the East Side, and where people don't like me because I'm a Republican, one time Richard Franklin told me, say, Mike, I'm glad you're in town because people have somebody else to hate besides me.
Wow. I was talking to him about that. I was like, yeah. Nobody gonna hate you, Mike, man. Don't be like that. No, man, nobody hate you, man. Nobody hate you.
Say, I'm glad you're here because people have somebody to hate besides me. And I don't care, because my thing is I'm going to be me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of those guys who change their voice to make white people comfortable. I talk just like I talk with them. Because I believe you have to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you trust God and really believe in Him, He can change things. He can change people. Whether or not someone changes or not is not up to me. It's up to Him and them. I'm not even in it.
Mm-hmm.
What we have to do, I believe, as a people, is show belief in ourselves and belief in our God.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that too many times liberal giveaways distract us. There's a price for that. We'll give you this if you go away from this value of yours. I think it's a value thing. I think it's a value thing. And what we've got away from, in my view, is in our community, all our institutions are gone. The family is gone, has been disrupted. The church is not servicing the way it should. We don't have control of our schools. And one of the reasons I was heavily behind Trump, he was the only one that talked about school education. I heard Hillary say, "I'll make education better." How? And you and the union's pocket, or they're in your pocket, either way. They're worried about their jobs. They ain't worried about the kids. This teachers want a paycheck. You know, there's some in it for the love, but many are in it for the paycheck. And I just simply believe that I'd have a better chance as a black man of teaching a younger black man than a little white girl that went to liberal arts college of teaching him what he has to do to get to the world. So we have to get involved with and in charge of reestablishing our own institutions beginning with the family.
Mm-hmm. And
everything else would flow from that. And what you do in your organization, and I've gone to several of your meetings, as you know, and we're guys talking about stuff that happened to us. And I get a lot out of those meetings because that last one I went to with the little guys with the books,
yeah,
we was talking about he was talking about death and I looked at death as being cocooned.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
That really struck me. It helped me a lot because my mother just passed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, well, that's just Mama's remains. What's Mama? That bundle of energy that was her was gone. And I thought of that same thing and deal with my friend. But that was just his container. Because what's him is gone, and it's right here. And your people right here. So going to that little meeting, seemingly nothing meeting, gave me a lot. And I want to have either one or two, both of those two brothers on my show. Because what they have to say is important.
Mm-hmm.
And they're published just like you are. They're trying to write and inspire and affect other people positively.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best thing I like about going to those meetings. Because no matter how many of us are in there, there's always something positive that comes out. You know, when you get up on the board, write the word,
yeah.
and we fuss and we and do what we do.
Yeah, yeah.
Eat our little food.
Yeah.
And just be real with each other.
Absolutely.
We're communing with each other. We're learning from each other. We're helping each other. We're fellowshipping.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call it in the church. But we have gotten away from that as a community. I should not be so mad at you that I can't fellowship with you. I don't care if your political view is different than mine. There's something we can agree on, like what time is it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go across the street. We need to go get something to eat. We need to make things better for those who we know and who we love, some kind of way. That's why I try to support what you do. Because what you do, I try to get word of what you do out there, and my thing is to facilitate opportunities for other people. I'm a Republican, make no doubt about that, because that's what I am. But that doesn't mean I can't help people get ahead and try to make things better for themselves and for people that they know. Mm-hmm. Because there are opportunities out there that we don't avail ourselves of because we put ourselves in these little cubby holes. Mm-hmm. These silos, as Ken Thompson calls them. People in their own silos and don't interact with other people and don't share what they have. Because one of the greatest values that any of us have is the ability to share our experiences and our thoughts with others. Because if we're not doing that, we might as well be a house plant or something. To me.
Oh man. Yeah, you're right.
Huh? I don't know. I'm just a guy. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. That's just what I believe.
Right Talk with Mike Lee show. That's where we at. The Right Talk.
Well, you gotta talk right. You gotta talk right and talk real.
Yeah.
You know, it's no sense lying. Ain't no benefit in that.
Yeah.
It's all about helping and fellowshipping and talking and exchanging. Because those little guys, I was really impressed by those little guys at that last meeting that I went to. Because we meet over the apartment complex in that clubhouse room.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you hadn't made it there yet. I got another couple of months that I'll be on the African American Resource Advisory Commission, quality of life as they call it. Because I think things like what you do, what Latrice does, Orlando and other people are doing things, trying to make things better in the community for themselves. And to me, those are the kinds of things that should be receiving funding and help from the city, because you're doing partially what they should be doing. And I was really upset because you're doing it on your dime. And I think I told you. I just probably just told you, because that's the way I am. I said, I probably told you, Ike, I don't like what's going on.
Yeah, you did tell me many times.
Because that's just what I believe. And it makes me angry that churches ain't passing a bucket for Ike, a bucket for Latrice, a bucket for Orlando, because these are our people. And we're supposed to be doing that. And these, as far as I say, these liberal Democrats, they say, we'll do this if you'll vote for us. That's pimping to me. That's pimping. You're not doing it for you to do for yourself. They do it because they want something out of the deal. Because my thing is about being free. If I want to go out and sit up on a flagpole all day, fine. Let me go ahead and sit on a flagpole. But don't you tell me you got to come down off there and vote this way. The heck with you. I might not want to do that. That might not be best for me. It might not be best for my family. And I think we just need to start looking out for our community. That's why you see me show up somewhere everywhere, doing anything, like I'm running or something. I'm not doing anything. I'm just trying to make some good stuff happen for some folks, because that's what it's about. Because it's the right thing to do. Now back to your organization. Now, you got some help from the city now. You do some work for the city now, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah, so we run an IDADS program.
Is that how's that affiliate with the city? Is that on contract?
Yeah, contract. So basically, I'm one of the facilitators, the head facilitator for that, and then I have staff that help me facilitate the meeting. So
how often do they meet? And where do they meet?
It's a 10 week session, shall I say? 10 session or 10 block of time, 10-week block of time.
So it involves some commitment on the participants' part and some commitment on your part, right?
Yeah.
And what do you do there?
So as far as my part is to be able to help them whatever they need as far as resources, whether it be employment, father parenting skills, or.
How do the people know you're there? How's it publicized?
That would be
just word of mouth.
Well, because this is specifically for housing authority. So it's not for like outside people. They want it for the people who
in the
housing authority. So that's where they have it. The organization I have is for the public.
So is it funded with public money? Because I used to work for a fair housing agency in South Florida.
Okay.
And most of their funding came through HUD.
Yeah. I think they got like a grant.
Okay.
For that, to be able to do that. So I remember doing it.
So what you do is helping them fulfill a grant requirement.
I don't think necessarily, because one of the things when we started the program, they were like, well, we want to do this. We have this idea. Who's best to do it? And so my name came up. We kind of made that happen, and we did it just to see a cohort to see how it would do, and it was successful. And
now who helps you run this organization, by the way? Just you?
As far as me and my facilitators.
How many facilitators do you have?
I have two. I have two. And then I have someone who's a supervisor of on the housing authority, who kind of monitors everything and make sure we need anything or whatever. But most of the time I come in, I do what I do that you normally see me do. I just
Like
come
you do in that
in,
little room
I just
over there?
yeah, I just walk in, I do what it is. They know I got their contact information. If they market it to bring those guys in or whatever, they usually kind of pull the guys in and let them know about the program, that, the services when they're in there. And I just do what I do. So I
So
get
there's
to work.
documentation you have to maintain and deliver that to the city, right?
Yes,
As far
yes.
as
As far sign-in sheets,
Uh-huh.
see who came, who showed up, who participated this week. So throughout the 10 weeks, and there's a graduation at the end.
Okay.
So yeah, it's an awesome program. We had the most graduates.
What's the name of it, by the way?
IDADS.
IDADS?
Yeah, involved dads assessing, developing, and succeeding. So
Okay.
developing and succeeding. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, anything as far as the partners that we have, Goodwill, what are the partners? Capital, Skill Point Alliance, and just different organizations like that that will come in. I think Austin Area Urban League, ACC, they come in and kind of speak to them. Project Hopes, Safe Place at Project Hopes. They came out and talked about their fatherhood program.
So
and
where do
different
y'all
things
meet?
like
Where's the location? Is it at City Hall or different various
that.
places?
Different
around the
places,
city?
different housing developments that they have.
The clubhouse rooms? or
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah. So whatever property that we're at, we just do that, and we open up and we have food, and we do what we always do is how that method. And
So
that
these are
we've
on
been
housing
successful.
authority properties?
Yes, these are housing authority properties. So we just come in and do what we do. So.
Is it kind of like when we're kicking on those Thursday or Friday nights when we at that little clubhouse room?
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of the same thing. It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing, just only specifically for them.
Right.
And so that's what it is. So, yeah. So we talk about everything from fatherhood to manhood to communication, healthy relationships, parenting, what it is to be a man, father, whatever it is, job skills, job training,
You
interview
ever have them
skills.
write stuff?
Yeah, write out a vision. I say, what vision you want for your family, you and your family. And so not everybody has a vision. Some got small visions, some got big visions. Whatever it is, let's write it down. Let's get it out. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? And we've had 2 people actually start businesses. One actually had like 12 contracts. He was like, he said, hey, I'll have a bucket. I couldn't get a job. He was doing labor work. And he said, well, I don't have a job. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to make things happen. And due to my background, it's not good. And hey, what do I need to do? He said, hey, I got a bucket and some soap and I got a squeegee. I said, I'm finna go out here and make me a window washing company. And he just went out there and did it. That's all he had. Yeah, he said, this is all I had. He said, I had all my stuff on the bus going to these places and getting contracts, and he was fulfilling them. He was fulfilling them, going there, whatever they could budget or whatever, he'll work with them, and you see his receipt book. He's just like, look, I got this. And we have a business class. I had somebody come in talking about business, how to be able to structure your stuff. And not everybody thinks it's like, it's really that is. We got his EIN, his DBA, all that good stuff, all set up. His name, all that. I'm like, wow, he was just like, wow, this is it. I can really do this. I can really achieve this. Yes, because in his mindset, where he was at, he think he couldn't be able to possibly do that. But when somebody showed him the way, like, look, you really want this. This is what we're going to show you.
So
how
you
to
gave
do.
him hope.
Gave him hope. Gave him hope. Went out there and did it. I was like, man, he's making more money than I was. I was like, man. I was like, where you got? He's like, this is 200. This is 200. This is 150. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. Wow. And so I just look at that and be like, man, I believe.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel really good. Really good. It gives me more hope and to know that I am making a difference. And it helps me not quit, because in this business and you're working with people, you get kind of like, there's so many people that you see, and if you can't help them, you feel like you're not doing anything. And then when you see that one, that says, oh, I'm finna go take it and run with it. And that's what you look for. But you might go through 50 of them, to be like, hey, I got it. I'm finna run with this. That's it. And so it's rare sometimes, but over the period of this past year, it happens more times than what I used to have. So it took about 4 years to get to get there, where we got more successes than we got just I don't really want anything. So,
is there a way to get knowledge of your program or a program like yours in the school, AISD or something like that? Some kind of connection?
Yeah, there's a possibility. I'm actually working on some things right now. For one of the programs that I have that I created is more personal development, life skills class. And so what I want to try to work with is one of the poor performing schools. Like they're not doing very well in their schools. I want to kind of help that and help the dropout rate and prevent that as well.
Because what I'm thinking is this. I'm just sitting here thinking, if they had discussion groups at like Barnes and Nobles, places that are kind of forgotten, book clubs and reading groups or something. Just anything that kind of community oriented needs to be going on, and have right reading stuff. I say right stuff because that's where I am.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like now, what I see in education is kind of educating kids to be disruptive. And schools are almost like training grounds for something bad, to me. Because they're not teaching God, love of God, country and family and stuff like that. They're teaching all this sexuality crap.
Teach you a lot of stuff. Your environment would teach you a lot, and if you don't raise your kids, somebody else will. The streets will. I was kind of raised by the streets. I was raised like that, to like not receive what that is. Whatever that negativity is, I didn't take it in and apply it to my life, even though some residue spilled, but I didn't take on the gang life. I didn't take on that. I just got beat because I just wasn't in the gang. So, as we continue to pray for our schools and our children in there, one of the things we got to look at is know that what are the parents? What are the parents? And we go to like, well, why are they like that? Why is this conduct, in the school like this? Why do they misbehave like this? Why do they do that? So what is the root cause of why they do what they do? And I'm all about hidden things. I'm all about angry roots or whatever that is that you don't want to tell nobody about, or that's secret. I said, man, you never know what's going on with somebody. You never know until I actually sit down and have a real heart-to-heart conversation. You don't know what the
driver is.
You don't know what it is until you like, hey, and just in my experiences, I don't want to say like names or put anything, where you got, sexually abused by the brother or the dad, or you got they've been beaten by their dad or whatever, or they threw them out a window or whatever the case may be. You never know what happened. Or as I was adopted and my adopted parents treated me like this or treated me like that, I get that is how come they gave me up? They didn't love me. And so, I'm adopted, and I love my parents, and I'm supposed to love them, right? But why did my other parents give me up? Am I not worthy? So if you feel a certain way, I was, well, I don't really want to live. I don't really want to do anything. What does it matter now? And when I understand that, because I was there, why does it really matter? Why live?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The 6th grade, it was my first suicide attempt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you in 6th grade and you want to commit suicide because life is that bad? Yes. I thought that, because it was to me. And we never know what's going on in their lives or what's at home. Because what at home, my mother had drug addicts all up in the house. It was the crack house. That's what it was. You want me to come home after work, after school and band practice and everything, and come home and you got crackheads just sitting outside the house? I can't bring no friends over. My life, I don't get no allowance. You know what I'm saying? We get food. My mother sit there and she goes sells the food to go get, because she want more drugs. So we ate probably like a week and a half of good food, and then all of a sudden we have to go steal food.
Now,
We never know what's going at home. We never know.
now, you know why I say it really comes down to choices and kind of like targets that you pick.
Yeah.
Just like I had my brothers and sisters who were successful,
Mm-hmm.
I have my other brother who's done 50 years. Off and on, he's done over 50 years in jail. And he's at least as bright as I am. But he and I have talked, and it really came down to when he was a certain age, he wanted to get a bike for his birthday. My mother and father couldn't afford to get one, so he went out and stole one. He started stealing and kept going from there. When I wanted to play baseball, my mother wouldn't buy me a glove. She wouldn't. She later told me she could have, but she just didn't. And so I'm the only person I know who went and joined the baseball team without a glove. But I just went. And when I go down to the baseball field with no gloves, and the manager and the coach come, they start dumping it. Stan had this army bag. He dumped this out. Said bats came out, balls came out, and a glove came out. So I went and picked up the glove. I didn't have one, so I just went and picked up the glove. And he says to me, "Little fella, if you're gonna use that glove, you got to put these on, the shin guards and the chest protector." So I was a catcher because it was the only glove that the team furnished. But the important thing is, I just went. I didn't go to it. Unlike my brother, I didn't make a choice, a negative choice. I just wanted to join the baseball team, so I just went down there. And there are things you have to do in just on faith, kind of by accident or whatever. But you have to have that mindset of, I'm going to do this, and it's not bad. And usually things will work out. To me, I just believe that if you do all you can do and give all you got, God will break you off. I just believe that. That's why I can go up in places like the Victory Grill, where it's supposed to be a hostile environment, and I'm gonna come out alive. You know, it's gonna be okay. But I'm going in. I don't know what's in there. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if this is gonna work out all right. I just always believe everything's gonna be all right. Either that I'm gonna be dead, I'm going to heaven. So, what have I got to lose?
Right.
I have nothing to lose. And when I deal with the conservative people that I deal with, I have nothing to lose. Because I'm going there, I'm trying to learn something. I'm trying to figure something out. I'm trying to figure out what in this situation can I do that I can take somewhere else and try to help somebody else. That's what this thing is about, to me. You should know that about me. You know, you had breakfast with me. We didn't have breakfast, where we worked.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to make some good things happen for some folks. Because to me, that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this show is about. It's right to help people, and it's right to talk, and it's right to do the right thing. And if I'm doing the wrong thing by trying to help somebody, heaven help me. Because that's what I'm going to do, because that's what should happen. Right now, there's the organization that we've been having inside the Republican Party, the Black Republicans, so to speak, the MLK Association. We're forming a relationship with a Black Political Action Committee out of Florida, who would like to come here, probably. And so we're forming a relationship with them, and I'm trying to see what can I do from Austin to help. What can I learn from that situation there to bring it here and try to help some folks get some clout. Now we're working now. We're trying to. I may have the honor and privilege of going to the inauguration. Now most people here with the tan like you and me won't think that's an honor or a privilege. They say, "What the hell are you doing going there?" They'll say that. How you gonna go up there with all them races? Go there and have a party. Because I think we get so consumed with ourselves and our hate and our enmity, which is not from God. To me, we deal too often from a negative base. And how are you going to start off from a negative base and expect something good to come out of it?
Yeah. One of the things is that, being conditioned to believe one thing, that these people, this particular group, are bad people or racist or whatever, and then you get, as you're an adult, that's all you've been taught. So that's the way it is. So if you never had any information or got educated on anything about what does it mean to be this, or what does it mean to be that, or why support this group or why support that group, and then you get up, like most of my friends, Democratic. They just like, no, they don't care. They just like, no, those are racist. That's why. Those are racist.
That's the end of it.
That's the end of it. There is nothing about the party, and the politics. They just know, look, that group over there, they're racist. None over there. These are not racist, obviously.
These things, they're not saying it.
Yeah, I mean, they're not saying it, but the perception is
Right.
that y'all don't do anything for the community. Y'all don't do anything
Right.
for my people. So why should I go out and vote for you if you don't do anything? I don't see you out there. So it becomes where that's just the thing. And so the community as a whole said, like, yeah, we vote. If you're going to vote, go ahead and you vote for what you know. So it's more of a thing like my friend said, he said, so where the black people gonna be at? Democrats, where the black people gonna be at? That's the mindset of how he's thought things. It's like, well, I want to be where the black people at, where the Democrats at. You know what I'm saying? That's how he was raised to believe.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, and unless there is a shift, a mind shift, a perception of what that is, no one else is gonna actually believe it. It's gonna take a while. Everybody know you had some bad stuff, but it take a while when you turn over a new leaf and God on saved and you got this whole thing. They still don't believe that you really transformed. You know what I'm saying? They always like, we don't know if you really. You think you just playing. You over here feeling yourself. But it takes a while for them to believe. Oh, he's really serious about this. And that was just for me. Is that it took you a while to be able to say, hey, they're really not those type of people. You know what I'm saying?
See, my thing is, I just have a curious nature, and I'm not scared. I'm really not scared.
You gonna write a book? You should be writing this stuff in a book.
Anyway.
You gonna write a book, Mike?
Let's say, for example, they had a cookout in Williamson County of everybody who was running for office up there in August, I think it was. And I went to the cookout. It was me and about 250 to 300 white folks. And I called my brother on the phone. I said, man, I got him surrounded, because that's how I feel. Because I just go there. I mean, nothing's gonna happen. I figured nothing's gonna happen. If it does, I'm going to heaven. That's it. But to me, most normal people would not put themselves in that situation. So I don't claim to be normal. You know, when I was in college, I always wanted to go to a KKK cross burning just to see, what's going over there. I just wonder about stuff. What happened if I go over there? When I worked in the DA's office down in Beaumont, they say, don't go to Viator because something bad happened to you there. So I went over there and got me some gas just to see if something bad had happened. That same thing make me skydive out of a plane. That is not normal. I know that's not normal.
Nobody you.
But it seemed like
Not to other people.
Hey, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
That's one thing you have to have faith when you do that. When you jump out of a plane that's perfectly working good, if something go wrong, there's nothing to grab onto but God. Because there's nothing but air up there for real.
Yeah.
It's really air.
Lots of air.
It's really air and it's cold.
Cold. That's what I'm saying. That's cold.
But I just believe in trying to break barriers and trying to do new things. I was always taken by Columbus and Magellan. Guys, just go sail. Just go somewhere. The earth is flat. You gonna sail out? Really? I mean, you just got to believe. There was a little picture on used to pitch with New York Mets, Tug McGraw. I think Seaver was on the staff. Kuzma was on the staff. Nolan Ryan was on the staff at the time. He was a little left-hand release pitcher. Couldn't throw real fast. Didn't have no big curve or nothing, but he'd get him out. And all he said, I believe I can get him out. He said, you gotta believe, and you just gotta believe. And my thing in just about all things, since as I've grown older and got a little bit of sense, is I believe in God and I trust him. I trust him. So I don't have anything to worry about. All I got to worry about is that I do what I got to do. Yeah, well, I'm almost off, I guess. I'm going to keep talking up. You said something. Well, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thank you for
I'm
having me.
glad God arrested you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I believe that things have a way of working out as long as you're trying to do what's right.
Yeah.
When I go to Victory View, I'm not trying to do anything wrong. I'm trying to make something right for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. God put me here to serve, and here I go.
Yeah.
Talk for a whole hour. Oh, okay. Oh, we should have put your website and all that kind of stuff up there. my owner. So I guess we're still kicking. So, what's next for your group, man? When's your next event? You gonna let me know so I can post
I'll
it
let
where it
you
needs
know.
to be posted?
I'm planning it right now. I'm doing a bunch of stuff right now. Planning with the Men Talk experience. Planning the cookout. So I'm trying to do some different things. So yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna do some big things in 2017. So.
I want to do a Man Talk show here, but we can't do the cussing. I don't know if we can have a real talk without that.
You can.
Cause the one guy's pretty high strung. Tall, slim guy.